Good afternoon. I'm Tina Burton and I'm a research scientist working at the main FarmScraper that produces most of the food for Golspie. As you know, water is a necessity in growing food, but we're working on other technologies. In particular, we're trying to figure out, and we're making good progress with doing so, with how to extract salt from the seawater that surrounds us. As you know, the climate temperature rises have caused major floods in the past and then droughts at other times, which is an ongoing problem and why we have things like the roundabout to try and mitigate against it. That said, I'd like to reassure our citizens who live outside the city limits, including the nomads and micro-community dwellers, that the loss of water and drought that they're experiencing is only temporary. We're already using some seawater in our farming, and we hope that this will solve the drought problems. So we won't need to use any of the water that comes from the sky. All of the water that we're planning to use to grow our food will come from seawater. I know that people are sceptical about the science being used in our food production, and some see it as non-natural food. But this is really not true. We're learning so much from our tree and botanical experts about how to use the system that we discovered some of the legacy botanicals use. And this is the system of communication between the plants that help them grow and get nurtured. This research that's come out of that understanding means that we can now easily find out how the health of our plants are. For example, the trees, we know the trees use fungi. We've known that for years as a communication and warning system that supports their health. But we've been able to use the sound data that these plants produce to encourage the growth of new plant species. Oftentimes those new plant species grow faster, more abundantly, and are bigger, which is really important in food production. So that these new plants benefit from this same system of data sound that we've discovered from the older plants. So what we do is we play the sound data music to our new plants, and we've found that this is to be a massively nurturing start to their lives. Most surprising of all, actually, is that these new plants seem to learn the musical language, and after only a short time no longer need us to intervene, producing their own sounds, and they are thriving. We're also discovering that this language, as we're calling it, this data, is becoming more sophisticated and has enabled some plants that we struggle to grow actually to thrive. So really exciting work being done around what the plants are telling us that they need. Since the water shortage is temporary, and I'm saying it's temporary because we're already extracting the salt from seawater and using that, and we propose to do that 100% within the next 3 to 6 months. I propose that we provide the food that is needed for the nomadic and micro communities for the next 3 months, in order to give those communities time to look at some of the solutions that they've already been investigating to try and overcome the drought conditions, as well as preparing for influxes of water that might cause flooding. As always with our communities, we want the citizens to take responsibility and find their own solution. That we feel that that's really important. But we can also support them in doing that by providing them with the food. I also wanted to take a tiny bit of your time to show you some of the work that we've been doing with this biochemical sound data that our plants have produced. Not only have we seen them thrive, but we're also beginning to realize that this data can have a beneficial impact on us as humans as well. We noticed, first of all, that the people that are working with this data seem to be having a positive impact. So what we've done is we've started up a little research project to see what happens when we play this, what we're calling musical data, to humans. And the initial findings seem to be revealing that people are feeling calmer, they're reporting more of a sense of equilibrium in their lives, which is really positive news. We even think that this data might be able to cure some diseases that are caused at the cellular level, potentially even cancer. Anyway, to summarize, I'm sorry to digress a bit there, but to summarize, we're extracting the seawater, we're extracting salt from seawater, meaning that we won't need any of the rainwater in order to grow our crops. We're beginning to see the biomedical data having a positive impact both on the plants we're growing and on humans. And we're proposing to provide food for our outlying communities in order to support their work on floods and drought technologies. I would just like very quickly, because I think you might find it really interesting, to see the process of photosynthesis, which is what you can see on the screen behind me. This is at the kind of cellular molecular level. And I would like to play you, I'm just going to play you a little piece of the sound that these plants in raw data format produce. Thanks for your time.